Good morning. Welcome into Five Clubs. Great to have you with us on this Monday morning. Monday, December 15th. And we are live. Golf Channel, also PGA Tour Radio. That is Sirius XM's Channel 92. This program is always presented by Century Insurance. Business insurance is their business. You have a business, you should evaluate your insurance with them. They will be right by you. Golf Pride, when it comes to grips, the options, the quality of the materials through the bag, including that reverse taper putter grip series, they are the standard. And Peter Millar, we are less than 2 weeks away. If you need anything for any man or woman in your life when it comes to the best lifestyle brand of apparel, it is Peter Millar and petermillar.com. I got in the car this morning. I looked at my onboard temperature, and you know who was staring at me? Johnny Unitas. 19 degrees. Oh my. All right, well, joining me, he can handle this. Although when he walked in the building, he's like, it's not much warmer in here than it is outside. He, of course, Brendon de Jonge, PGA Tour Live, Wagyu Filet on Sirius XM, Golf Channel as well. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Gary. It's chilly out there. I've got many extra layers, but it's chilly.
I could have gone a third 4-ply layer of cashmere, and I know viewers would say, what an idiot. It's cold, not just out there, but inside of our studios as well. Whole hour with you. Looking forward to have somebody that you go all the way back to junior golf with. Oliver Wilson, who was on the 2008 European Ryder Cup team, two-time winner on the DP World Tour. He's going to join us here in studio in a couple minutes. But a lot to get to with you and him, but I want to start with something, again, for folks who paid attention, and if you're watching this network, you paid attention to Q School. You were down there. You had your son with you, and if your son had no indication of how cutthroat what dad's business and job used to be, Q School is the essence of it. Let's put up the 5 guys who got through yesterday by way of the Q School. 5 is as cutthroat as it gets. And as you look at these names, A.J. Ewart, he's never even played an event on the Korn Ferry Tour. You can see he's had a couple of starts on the PGA Tour, Adams Fence, and he's won on the PGA Tour. Alejandro Tosti, the spicy one himself, second time he's gotten through Q School, which speaks to his makeup, I believe, in a good way. Marcelo Rozo is an excellent story. By the way, he lost a playoff on the Korn Ferry Tour in 2019 to a guy named Scheffler. And then finally, Dylan Wu, who also has a fair amount of, as you can see, over 100 starts on the PGA Tour. He's the guy by way of the playoff that filled out the 5. Brendon, look, I love Q School. I'm looking at it from, 30,000 feet. Through the years, it's changed. It's now down to this 5. Give people a sense of what it was like on the grounds there, being out there with your son.
It's uncomfortable. It's a horrible vibe. And my son said that to me. He's like, nobody's smiling. Nobody's having any fun. I was like, that's not going to change. That's not going to change for the next 5 hours. We were out there for about 2 hours. But it is. And we were talking off camera. If there's ever a time when you might be pulling against somebody, that might be the time at Q School. Because with just 5 cards, it's so difficult.
I believe this for the most part when players say I never, when a guy's got a putt to win and somebody's already posted and they say, well, I never root against a guy. Really? If that was ever true, it has to be this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a job. This is getting a job.
It is. It's getting a job. And I love the fact that we've got a good mix of guys that got through there. Some guys that have got some PGA Tour experience, and then some guys that are going to be making a start in a 36-year-old rookie. I think it's great. But yeah, it is. It's just a horrible vibe. It's uncomfortable. And it's a grind. It's your absolute grind.
All right. So what we're going to do here over the next hour with you, and then Oliver Wilson's going to join us in a couple of minutes. We'll look back a little bit, look ahead as well, because this is our final week of the year. Last show will be Wednesday for us, take a little hiatus, then back starting January 7th for us will be our first show. Details to come. We have a 2-hour show on Wednesday, and the details of who's going to be joining us, pretty good lineup. So we're excited about our final week of the year. If I asked you in terms of the 3 or 4 things that were either the most memorable, noteworthy, the things that you'll remember most about this year in total. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be the PGA Tour, Major Championship golf in general. What will be the things that will stand up for you?
The first one's Augusta.
Yeah.
It jumps straight to your mind. Obviously, the roller coaster that you're on watching Rory there, how he won it, how he lost it, how he won it again, how he lost it again, and then ultimately to make birdie on the first playoff hole after letting Justin Rose back in there to get into the playoff. I thought that was just fantastic. And then just the outpouring of his emotions, just that massive monkey off his back, I thought was fantastic. That to me is one, no doubt.
Yeah, it's hard to get past it. I actually, this past weekend, I went back and on YouTube through, Augusta National, the Masters, they have a relationship with YouTube to eventually get the whole network broadcast that's on there. But what's on there is every shot from his final round. It's a 17-minute episode. There's no commentary. It's just it is just kind of boom mic. You get atmosphere, but you don't get audible reaction
right.
from so it's 17 minutes from opening tee shot into the fairway bunker right, and he opens with double, to that final putt on the first playoff hole, but also the bogey on the final hole in regulation, and every shot in between. I don't want to say that I remembered every single shot, but there were a couple things that I had forgotten temporarily. Is there if I said to you, Give me 2 or 3 things about that day that will also stand up in your mind. What would they be?
The first one would be he's got the tournament in the bag, the shot into 13.
Yeah.
Just the absolutely awful wedge shot into 13.
Seeing it again still is jolting.
Yeah, you've got who knows how much green left of that flag. You've got a nice lead at the time to hit that one in the creek and then to turn around a couple holes later and the shot into 15 from behind the trees. I mean, that to me is just absolutely amazing. Probably one guys that could have pulled that shot off after what had happened a couple holes back. The rebound, just the resilience that he showed.
Yeah, again, there's so much in it. It was the most exhausting experience watching it, whatever side you were on in terms of whether you're rooting for him or Bryson, and then all of a sudden Justin Rose is making birdie on every single hole. The shot on 15, but also there were the shot on 17, the shot on 7. Where the shot on 7, it was from inside, just outside the tree line on the 7th hole. He hoisted it up over the trees to that front right pin, and when the camera got to the ball, it was right before it landed on the green. It almost went in the hole on a fly, and then he left the putt short from 7 feet above the hole, which was similar to what he also did on 15. It ran out of gas and low energy left. Like if he makes 3 there, you're thinking he can just kind of limp to the house and finish and win. And then he hit a great shot on 16 to that back right pin, which has not been the traditional Sunday pin. They altered it and put it up there on that shelf, and he missed that putt as well. It had so much. Again, I've never been more exhausted watching golf than that day.
And as you say, regardless of what side you were on, whether you wanted Rory to win or you didn't want Rory to win, you left that with, I mean, it's just memorable. It's one that you're going to remember. It's going to go down as one of the most memorable Masters of all time.
For sure. I know I heard Rich Lerner with Taylor Zarzour on his show last week, and he thinks that even if we keep getting further away from it, it may pass Nicklaus. I don't know. I need a little bit more time on that.
Yeah,
that's
I think
okay.
A little recency bias maybe on that one. I think, give it a little bit of time, let it breathe a little bit, and we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there's so many elements you could say, well, this was his 18th. He was far removed from winning. This guy was 11 years removed from winning any major championship. One last thing before we go to break, and again, Oliver Wilson's going to join us in studio for the balance of the show. Where we're going, give me an overall thought about where you think the tour is going in 27 and your level of comfort in the direction they're taking this whole thing.
It feels like it's shrinking. It really does feel like we're going to see some of these long-running events go away. Now, how does that look for sponsors? Are they going to be required now to move into different roles? I'm really not sure, but it really does feel like we're going to see a schedule of 20, 25 events, and then plus the majors and the players. So we'll certainly find out here more in the next year.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that it started at the RSM with a guy who is the least cavalier person, Harris English, saying what he said, and then subsequently, and I think the reaffirming of all of it with Tiger stating his position at his own event a couple of weeks ago, there's no doubt. I would like them to brand this whole thing The Road to Contraction. I think it could be a documentary series. But we will talk more about this because Oliver Wilson, who's got a view of things, who spent his career on the DP World Tour, won twice there, was on a European Ryder Cup team in 2008. His view of also the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour and what else can they possibly do. We got a lot to get to. Brendan will be joined by Oliver. Great to have you with us this Monday edition. We know that most places you are bundled up, in a lot of places covered up in a lot of snow. It's nice to have you with us. Golf Channel, PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 on Sirius XM. Back on 5 Clubs right after this. Back in on 5 Clubs on this Monday, live on December 15th here, Golf Channel, also PGA Tour Radio. That's Sirius XM Channel 92. This segment brought to you by Golf Pride. The quality of the materials matched by the options you have through your bag makes Golf Pride the standard in golf grips globally. Great to have them with us here in 2025. Looking forward to 2026. Looking forward to getting the thoughts of Oliver Wilson, who joins us now, along with Brendon de Jonge, two-time winner on the DP World Tour, was on that European Ryder Cup team in 2008. Had a puffer jacket on 6 seconds ago, took it off. Even though he's from England, I mean, this is Charlotte. We're not accustomed to this. Good to have you in. How you feeling?
Well, I'm warming up slowly. Yeah, it was just waiting outside, feeling a little fresh.
You two go back to the beginning of your journeys in the game of golf, trying to do this, which you both did at the highest level. You remember the first round that you played with him, or the first time? What's your first memory of Brendon de Jonge?
I remember playing the Junior British Open at, I think it was, the Open was at Lytham. We played St Anne's Old Links maybe, and we had to do a presentation. We were doing homework at night and we were getting interviews.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was kind of a weird week, but I remember Brendan from back then. That was the first time, and then we played a lot of times after that and in college. And then as pros, I'm not sure if we have played a few events on tour, but I can't remember exactly which ones.
I don't know if we ever got paired together as pros, but definitely a lot of collegiate golf together.
Yeah.
We played a ton of collegiate stuff.
You went to Augusta State, obviously you at Virginia Tech. All right, we're going to try to get your perspective on a ton of things here for the balance of the program. Let me start with Scottie Scheffler, because you guys saw the Messiah that was Tiger. You saw him at a level, it was kind of the back end of the greatest wave of performance we've ever seen. And Scheffler, we're trying to give context to what he's doing, and everybody is invoking the Tiger stuff, and it's not unfair, it's not unreasonable. They're own, including being a guy who led scoring on the PGA Tour first, second, third, and final rounds this year. It hadn't been done in 25 years. The last guy to do it was him. So with respect to Scheffler, I don't know. Look, we can talk about all the wins. What's the most impressive thing that you think he did this year?
To me, it's this level of consistency, and it's almost the stubbornness that he won't let himself play poorly or let himself be out of contention in a tournament. What was it? 16 top 10s to finish the event, to finish the season. Hasn't been outside of the top 10 since March at the Players. It's just every single week to show up, and that's hard to do.
I mean, look, to have 8 or 10 top 10s in a season is a haul for any players. He had 17 in total, like you said. He finished tied for 20th at the Players and never lived outside the top 10 the rest of the year. What's your view of his excellence? Is there something in terms of what he does on the golf course? If you want to look at the overall production, what is it that stands out for you?
It's hard for one thing to stand out because his whole level is so good. He's just a relentless consistency. I think he makes less mistakes. He makes golf look boring, which is what we all aspire to do. He doesn't have to hit the recovery shots, but when he does, he can. He just outlasts the field. The best players in the world just keep playing their golf, and they know over 4 rounds they'll end up being at the top. But he's like another level past that. He'll outlast the very best players. So he's very stoic when he plays. It's just his mental ability is incredible. It's the best we have right now, certainly probably since Tiger, and I think that's why some of the comparisons are made. I was very fortunate to watch him quite a lot at Quail when he won the PGA, and he wasn't that good on the front nine on Sunday. It was very unlike him.
Totally.
But I can't remember ever seeing a time when somebody flicked a switch and walked to that 10th tee, and it was like a whole new player, and his back nine was flawless. And he ended up winning by 5, I think, in the end. It was special, and I think watching that up close was when you realise, like, he's starting to enter the kind of the story of being a legend of the game. His 6 wins, like, just his consistency is incredible.
It's, the Quail thing is interesting because he won by the margin he did. So, you put it in his book and you move on. Rahm was closing in. The proximity of Rahm on that golf course to where Scottie was on 10 and John, I believe, was on 13. Yeah. And then there's Bryson, who's breathing down the back of his neck as well. And one other thing you said about boring, it doesn't mean he's boring. Tiger played a lot of boring golf, but Tiger would run afoul of fairways at times. So he had opportunities to, the Heisman Trophy was awarded Saturday night. It's like he had his Heisman moment. Tiger gave everybody a couple of Heisman moments every round because he was required to. Scheffler doesn't put himself in those positions, and oh, by the way, his short game, it's just efficient. It doesn't have flair like Tiger opening up the face and hitting full flops and holing them out at Muirfield Village. They do a lot of things similarly, but Tiger presented himself with opportunities to give you the sizzle reel.
I think it's efficient because that's all it has to be. He doesn't find himself in these crazy spots where you've got to hit a lob shot over a bunker or whatever it might be. To Ollie's point there, the way he manages a golf course is unbelievable. I walked a lot with him at the Open Championship, and obviously the wind's going to blow pretty good in Ireland. The ability to keep hitting the ball pin high is something that we've never seen, and it may be even better than Tiger there.
I think he's more Jack than he is Tiger, but in terms of what he's doing, Tiger is more recent, so we're doing that comparison. I think there's a lot of Jack in Scottie in terms of hole high. There's something methodical about it. He's a better chipper than Jack was. I think Jack would admit it. Jack's a better putter, the greatest, along with Tiger, greatest clutch putter. Meanwhile, Rory is the trapeze artist. He is, sometimes you think, yeah, he's got a harness, he'll be fine. Sometimes maybe he doesn't even have a harness and there's no net. Give me a sense of how you give context to what he did this year. All of it.
Well, it's special. For years, I've always thought, if Rory could just tidy up those mistakes, if he could just, he'd win so much more. But I've come to the conclusion you just can't. You can't have the brilliance and take away some of the mistakes. Obviously, winning at the Players was a phenomenal start to the year. Maybe didn't have his A game, but just kind of, played really solid, did what he needed to do.
That's what makes it even better.
Yeah, which is great to see for him. But obviously you can't look past what happened at Augusta. But it wouldn't be the same story at Augusta if he didn't make the mistakes. And that's what's like draws us in. It's like so exciting at Augusta to watch him on the back nine, make the mistakes, as you mentioned earlier. But then the sheer brilliance of shots on 15 and 17. He's just pure box office and so much fun to watch and quite different to Scottie in that sense. But he basically executed everything he wanted to do this year. He got the Players, got the Masters, got the Irish Open.
Won at Pebble Beach.
Won at Pebble and won away Ryder Cup. And I was fortunate enough to watch him up close a lot at the Ryder Cup. And what he did there, I have no words for. It was phenomenal. The amount of iron shots under the pressure, but also the uncertainty of stood over shots, not knowing what was going to happen, whether someone was going to shout something, say something, or move. And he just kept executing. And it was like, it was an adrenaline thing. He just kept feeding off it and hitting it even closer. It was phenomenal. So just, the overall year was as special as can be.
The Players, again, because he won he completed the career Grand Slam, He wins that event for the second time, which is not his kind of ballpark. It's confining, it's probably claustrophobic. He can't take advantage of his greatest weapon, his driver. He has to be more tactical, but I think that shows evolution and growth on his part. Take the winning putt out of it from the Masters. Give me 2 or 3 shots that you think were the most important shots he struck all year.
The tee shot on 17 in the playoff at the Players. We talked earlier in the year about Rory putting in a more spinny golf ball. That they showed up that Monday morning for that playoff, and the wind was absolutely howling. So to trust that spinnier golf ball into that strong breeze there at 17, that to me was one. Gave him that trust in that golf ball moving forward.
Do you have one that stands out?
Well, that one was one, I think it was maybe a little underrated, how good it was. Just to kind of stamp your authority on it. I think he had a 1-shot lead at that point. To just hit it in the middle of the green, put the pressure on JJ, that was the end game right there. The one that stands out for me, which we've touched on, was the second shot on 15 at Augusta. He's just gone double bogey.
Yes.
It's on the line, it's slipping away from him.
He had to make 4.
And he's got a shot that 99% of the field wouldn't take on. And he's hit a 7-iron from just over 200 yards, and it's carried the front edge of the green by a yard. I mean, the level of execution on that shot in that situation is literally, incredible. And to pull it off, he ended up missing the putt, which was a shame. But
it was perfect for what that day was.
It was just immense, because anything other than that shot is disaster.
Yeah.
So those are the shots that he's hit throughout the season that have just kind of built those results for him. But the one that I really enjoyed the most was the Irish Open, making eagle down the last to get into a playoff. Again, the tournament's slipping away from him.
All the kids on the rope line.
If people out there haven't seen it or listened to the noise,
it's so joyful.
It is incredible. Like, the cameras obviously all bring in the Irish crowd. There's so many Irish families and kids all around there just want to watch Rory. And, again, tournament slipping away from him, bombed a drive down there, hit it mid-iron, a bit short, 30 feet from the flag. Literally everyone in the crowd willing him to hold this putt, and it goes in. Just to get into the playoff was immense. It was, goosebump moment. One
of the happiest moments in terms of you pan the crowd and all these kids, and they all look like him. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, they all had that look in their eye. I'm going to take you back to the Players. I'm just going to ask you this hypothetical. What if he missed that putt on 18 on Sunday? Similar length of the putts that he had missed at the U.S. Open. And yes, he had already won at Pebble Beach. But I know everyone who's sitting there going, my God, what if he misses this? What if that didn't go in? I don't know. He's shown incredible resilience. He's vulnerable, and this happens, and then he turns right around, he gets right back in the fire, and that shows a lot of grit to do what he's done. But what if he doesn't make that putt on 18?
And that putt didn't go in the middle on 18.
No, it did not.
Caught the right side.
I'm telling you that putt, I don't know if there would have been a sense of really? Because everybody felt, and everybody's mind immediately went back to Pinehurst when all of a sudden he's presented with that putt to post the score that he needed to post.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know if he would have gone on to have the year that he's had.
No, but one other thing you said about the tee shot on 17 at the Players. The tee shot on 16 to me was him laying down a marker to JJ Spawn. Not today, dude. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hit an absolute BB. And I thought that was a show-off moment for him on a hole where it's a little quirky in terms of where that tree line is, and do I take it over the trees? Do I shape it a little bit? One last thing about the second on 15. I think that angle was a gift for him, because youthful Rory, if you said, sling a hook for me, is there anybody who's more capable of releasing the club at a time where you feel like he's steering it a lot better than him? I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Again, the two of them gave us so much in such different ways. There was something so inevitable about Scheffler, Oliver, and with Rory, it's like, I have no idea if he's going to get to the line or not.
Yeah, it is two different ways of just being world class, just bringing us exactly what we want. and what we want is to see them two going at it more as much as possible. But it will be two different ways. There's a vulnerability to Rory, but there's a brilliance to him, and Scheffler is he plays golf how you want to play golf. He just executes, relentless execution of shots after shot.
Yeah.
Kind of wears you down, wears the field down. Rory's going to be brilliant, and it'll be awesome to watch him go head to head.
If they go head to head, you look through time, the interludes are very modest in terms of great players that have a lot in their tanks having these moments. And so if there's going to be one, is there a place that makes the most sense that all of a sudden they're both in flow, they're both trending right, that they find themselves paired together in the final round somewhere? It doesn't have to be a major. Give me a spot.
I mean, it would be a major. Augusta would be the absolute dream. And it is a place that makes sense. Scottie's won 2 of them. Rory's won there once. Now,
his record has improved mightily. This was not flukish, him jumping up. He had been building.
Yeah, I mean, that's a place that would make sense, and it would be, I mean, talk about absolute theater there. You
go Augusta. You pick another spot?
Well, he stole my pick. Yeah, obviously, I'm trying to keep my notes away from him. But I look at the majors. Shinnecock, maybe. I think Rory likes that kind of golf. I don't think there's a whole lot of data to suggest that, but that's what I kind of like the idea of. I think it'll be a jam-packed leaderboard with the best players there on one of the best golf courses in the world. But I can see them going head-to-head there. I think it's going to happen a lot. I genuinely do. I do, yeah. I think it will. I think it's just building. I think Rory's now got to this point where he's playing in this period where the pressure's off him. I think he's adjusted to that. The position he's in. He's going to be playing maybe a bit more of a world schedule. I think he's going to be a bit more relaxed, and I fully expect him to knock off some more majors. And Scottie just doesn't seem to be going away. So I think Shinnecock makes a perfect.
Shinnecock, I think, does make sense. They both do. Shinnecock for a couple reasons. Scheffler going for the Slam a year after Rory completes his. I was mentioning this last week. It took us 25 years to go from Tiger completing the Slam to Rory doing it. But if you go back previously, 1965, 1966, Player completed it in 65, and then Jack did it in 66. So it could be 60 years later that we would get it in back-to-back years that 2 players would do it. The other thing about Rory in the U.S. Open, Shinnecock was the last low point for him in the U.S. Open, and since then, he has built a hell of a resume in the U.S. Open, and he said it at Oakmont in his pre-championship press conference about his record being what it is. He won it in 11, and then it was very indifferent and not really great by his standards. It's an ego thing. He wants to prove that he's a great U.S. Open player. He's doing that, and he's gotten obviously close, 23, 24. He also loves being out on the island. And if he could deprive Scottie of the Slam at Shinnecock of all places, anyway, why not Quail Hollow and the Truist? They both won there.
Yeah.
We hope we get it. All right, we got much more to get to with Oliver Wilson, Brendon de Jonge. Thoughts on the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour, and how do you deepen an alliance that exists now? We'll get to that, and looking ahead to 26, some players that they are bullish on. Great to have you with us. Bottom of the hour on a Monday. 5 clubs in frigid Charlotte, and I know it's frigid wherever you might be, here on Golf Channel and PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 on Sirius XM. We're back right after this. Back in on 5 clubs on this Monday, Golf Channel and PGA Tour Radio. That is Channel 92 on Sirius XM. This segment brought to you by Peter Millar. This little Rooney sweater blazer that I'm wearing, merino and cashmere, I could wear 3 more. It'd probably still be a little chilly. I'd like 3 more in every color. You can get them all, too, at any retail store. Peter Millar is all over the country, but more importantly and more conveniently, it is petermillar.com for all your lifestyle needs. All right, Oliver Wilson, Brendon de Jonge with me on this Monday. Let's get to as many things as we can here. And I mentioned Quail Hollow in the Truist Championship about, maybe a Rory Scottie moment. The Signature Series, they've added another one. They're going to go to Miami. Miami is going to precede the Truist, and then it's on to the PGA Championship. And I think that 27 will look different than 26 in a lot of ways, including, you know, how they kind of roll out this signature series. Do you think we're going to see, Oliver, some players? Rory's already shown that he'll skip a signature series, that this will continue this year?
I think for sure. I think Rory in particular is, you know, spending a lot more time in Europe. He's spending more time in London.
A lot of fall golf for him.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to balance everything, and he's fell foul of that before in his career, and he understands that. So I think he's now at the position, and I think we talked earlier about this year for him, how big it was, but I think it gives him that reason to kind of just do what he wants to do. It's going to be more about him. He's going to play the events he wants to play. He's going to handpick them globally, and he can't play 30 weeks a year, so he's going to handpick, and I think he's going to end up having to miss some of the signature events, which is a shame. But I think also for a lot of the top guys, they'll end up missing some because there's courses that don't suit and the schedule's packed. But that being said, they're more than double the amount of points and money than a regular season event. So I don't think they'll miss too many, but I think everyone's probably going to miss one, maybe two. Rory might miss a few more.
So the World Golf Championship Series started to deal with some attrition, and it was, you know, you had players from other tours that got spots, and that was part of it. But they started to see guys take it off, no-cut events. I mean, are you kidding? And do you get the sense that Rory's already done it, that Scottie, that, I mean, he's shown up at all these signature series events for the most part, that he too is going to have to pick a spot or two to pass?
Yeah, you know, Scottie in the past, and this is going to continue, is fiercely loyal to the Dallas area events. And
like Spieth was at the height of his powers.
Exactly, same way Jordan Spieth was. And as you look at the signature series event schedule, it's very, very condensed. As Oliver was saying, that you can't play every week. These guys don't want to end up playing 30-plus weeks out of the year. I think we're going to see Scottie miss a couple of them right there in the middle of it all.
So he played 20 events this past year. I would expect that he's going to play 20 again, but differently than Rory. Rory, you know, does the globe trotting. He plays after the Tour Championship. Scottie Scheffler didn't, but he played the Pro Tour, which was obviously a couple weeks before the Ryder Cup, and then not again until the Hero, whereas Rory's out there. He's going to Indy. He went to Australia. He played a couple of events to end the season on the DP World Tour. I don't think that's going to change, which is great for global golf. Let me ask you about Fleetwood. How do you take a guy who had this monster breakout? He was already such a world-class player, but this one thing that hung out there, the winning on the PGA Tour, and he does it in the last event of the year. Can you project that ascent continuing into the next year with him?
Yeah, I can. I think he's just built such a good baseline and foundation. He's got a great team. Great coach, Graham Walker, and I think it was just a natural progression. You know, he's so consistent. I think he maybe only missed one cut this year. So solid, played so good in the big events. Obviously, he couldn't quite get over the line. It's like a fairy tale ending to the season. I suspect next year it's going to be a very similar year, but with probably a few more wins. Now, maybe not the Tour Championship and in the playoffs, but spread throughout the year. I see the consistency not going away, but I think the confidence to get over the line more. So I don't see it going backwards.
Brendan, he's later, again, he's been so good, but he's never been better. And later prime is not something that what this generation is used to. Prime now is kind of like 27 to 31. It's like get that bushel full in that window. Doesn't mean you still can't be great. He's a little bit later. Do you agree as well that, and look, picking guys to win majors, there's 4 of them. There's so many variables. But in terms of him being among the 5 best players in the world, do you believe he will be that for 26?
100%. I think he takes this breakout season that he had in 2025 and uses that as a springboard into bigger, better things in 26. You said it there, to pick major winners is very, very difficult. I think we're going to see him contend in at least a couple of them. Came very close to Shinnecock last time.
Yes,
we
he
were
did.
There. Very comfortable around that kind of style of golf course. I think we see bigger and better things out of Tommy Fleetwood. Knocks off at least a couple wins.
He also has the ultimate sensei, Butch Harmon, feeding him the messaging that he needs. Just a little dose of Butch a couple times a year will fill you up. Now, look, he's an asset for the PGA Tour in a way that people have great affection for him. And if he continues to ascend, and even though the win was particularly important, the major thing, people want to pull him over the line.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a couple of guys that you're bullish on in 26. They may already be great, but you think that they're going to continue to go north. Who are they?
Well, I'm going to bring the European perspective here, and Marco Penge.
Rightfully.
I think he's had an incredible year. Obviously, I think Americans now know him and what he's done. He came over and played very well at the PGA. I think he finished about 20th, which was his first time playing in the US after a breakout year. He's just got that sort of X factor. He's got the game that's just entertaining. He hits it an absolute country mile. But he's not just a one-trick pony. He's got the whole game to back it up. He's put a lot of groundwork in. He had an unfortunate start to the year where he had a ban. And he used that time to just work on his game, get dialed in, make a plan, and he's just gone about it and played brilliantly, winning multiple times. Was unlucky not to make the Ryder Cup. Earned his PGA Tour card. He's going to be coming over here to play next year. And I think it's hard for guys to come over and play for the first time over here. You've got to learn the golf courses. It's a whole new way of life going about things. But I feel like his game and his personality will fit right in.
You're bullish on him.
Oh, massive.
I mean, he's got a gait. He's got it. He saunters. He's put together in a way, like you said, it's easy speed, and he walks around like I got this, but I belong here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so.
You like him.
Oh yeah, I've liked him from the start. I've been very bullish on him. I'm really bullish on another young kid as well.
Say it.
Michael Brennan. I'm huge on Michael Brennan. I walked with him at Sea Island earlier this year. I mean, talk about the guy that's got that extra gear, plays like an athlete. And Michael Brennan's got now a little bit of freedom. The fact that he's got that win, that his rookie year, he's going to have the ability to go out there and play and not worry about trying to keep your card. So I think we're going to see big things out of Michael Brennan as well. Don't be at all surprised to see him play on that President's Cup team.
Wow. I think Europe is in a place that it reminds me a little bit of maybe 15 years ago, where maybe the overall depth of like the Ryder Cup team was not what it is now, and it was 4 or 5 guys, whether it was Sergio or Westwood or Darren Clark, and then obviously Rory burst onto the scene, and Graham McDowell, and even Poulter, who really contended in some majors. I honestly think Europe, whether it's Marco Penge, David Puig, these are the younger guys. But Robert McIntyre has tasted the deep end of the pool now in a major championship. Tyrrell Hatton went a long stretch with one top 10 in a major for like 18 starts, and it was the 24 Masters, and now he was right there at the U.S. Open. A lot of people think Rahm is ready to win. Oliver, I think Europe could win a ton of majors over the next 3 years. Don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as you touched on earlier, it's really hard to win a major. There's only 4 of them, and there's,
But your odds are increased when you have that many guys who can.
Absolutely. We've got, 12, 13 guys in the top 25, 30 in the world that are all, none of them you look at and go, he's good, but he's not going to win.
He's not
good enough. But they all are. I think they have I think the Ryder Cup helps. I think being in that environment gives them the confidence, the way they talk, the way they lead up to the Ryder Cup, and the confidence that comes from it, and obviously the result. I think it's all little things that are just like filling up that bucket to give them a chance. Tyrrell, I can't see Tyrrell not winning a major. Honestly, I just think he has the game, the mental game. He's clearly got the physical game, but he's got the mental game to get it done. He believes it. He's unshakable in a strange sense. I just think, obviously, there looks like there's some chinks in the armour, but I just think his belief, he's going to win a major. Jon Rahm, I think this year is huge for him. There's going to be some clarity coming to his situation.
Him and Tyrrell.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure. I feel like Tyrrell probably deals with that situation at the moment better than Jon Rahm. I think it's taken away from some of his play this year, having to deal with it and try and figure out what that situation is going to be. I think that's going to get tidied up, hopefully pretty soon. And when that's done, either way, whatever happens, whether it's the DP World tweaks things and everything's fine, that'll be great. But if it was against him, he would have the bit between his teeth and he'd come out swinging. And I can't see him not being in contention. And whether they get over the line, I think they'll be right there.
I watched Tyrrell Hatton play now in the U.S. Open, and it kind of reminds me of how Tom Lehman was in the 90s, that he's going to be there every single June for the U.S. Open. And I'm with Ollie there. I would not be at all surprised to see Tyrrell Hatton win a major within the next couple of years.
You start clicking off the guys, whether it's Oberg, Matt Fitzpatrick, who's already got a major. Lowry has shown the ability to get in contention in majors. Rory is obviously going to be a factor in majors for several more years. Rahm. And then you start talking about some of these younger guys, and Hatton. Again, you can go through the European. Robert McIntyre is a different player than he was 2 years ago. I think Europe has a chance to win half of the majors over the next 2 years. If they win 4 of 8, it wouldn't surprise me. All right, if you look ahead and you said, all right, 2026 is going to be known for what? What is it going to be known for? The year of change? Clarity on the golf ball and where we're going in 28, or something else? Or that Luke Donald has agreed to go for 3 in a row?
I personally hope we don't see Luke Donald go for 3.
Okay.
I don't feel like there's an upside there for Luke Donald committing to do it for a
There
third
isn't?
time.
What if he does? I mean,
I feel like it's a can't win. I mean, well, obviously, unless he goes there and wins, and then it is. But the fact that you've won away Ryder Cup, you've won at home, you guys haven't lost at home for that long.
greed is good.
Greed can be good. Can be good for us.
You say beg off,
Yeah.
live with what you have, take your chips, go home, you're a made guy.
I do.
Okay. How about you?
Well, I said that before he agreed to come and captain in America, and he took it on and did it. And so I don't know whether he's going to do it. I suspect he won't. But we have a real issue with who is going to do it, like leading up. So there's that plays into it.
Because all these presumptive captains are kind of outside the system right now.
They are. However, I could see something change this year, and maybe Stenson comes back into that realm.
Wow.
I would like to see that.
Well, he's left live, and
Is this insider knowledge?
No, this is not insider knowledge. This is just me reading between lines, and maybe it's a bit more of my heart coming out. I just feel like when you look at the situation, Luke's done 2. He's done an amazing job. Just, back away. Just end on that. Happy days. But Justin doesn't want it. He still feels like he can play.
Sure.
And then it's like, well, Eduardo Molinari might be next in line. Great, he will be an amazing captain, but there's not. We used to be like inundated with people, and everyone was battling out. I want the next one. Okay, well, kind of figuring it out and negotiating. We're not in that position now. So if Luke steps away, maybe there's room for Stenson to come back in and take over.
Well, Luke was the accidental captain when Henrik was replaced. It's great to have you in. Look forward to doing this more in 26. Happy holidays to you.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, that is Oliver Wilson. We continue. Brendan, some final thoughts from him as we put a bow on a Monday edition of 5 Clubs right after this. Back in last couple minutes here on this Monday of 5 Clubs Golf Channel and PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92, Sirius XM. This segment brought to you by Century Insurance. They're invested in golf in deep, important ways with the USJ, with the First Tee. Proud to have them aligned with us as our presenting sponsor. They are in the business of business insurance. All right, Brendan, last couple minutes. What was your favorite non-major of 25?
When you asked me that question, Gary, it was kind of cool to think back through all the events. And there was some outstanding finishes, but the one that really got my attention was that Memphis finish. It was Tommy Fleetwood still trying to get over that hump that he would ultimately get over a couple weeks later.
Yes.
Winning that first event. You've got J.J. Spawn, who's trying to validate this victory at the U.S. Open that he had. And then Justin Rose, who just seemed to make putt after putt after putt, and that continued into the playoff and ultimately won. But I thought that was just an outstanding finish.
It was a great event. And, that was, you're talking about J.J. Spawn. J.J. Spawn's year, because of Scottie and Rory, I get it.
Yeah.
You get to his U.S. Open, but he gave the putt he made on 18, not to mention he's the one that Rory had to get through at the Players. He's also the guy who in the middle of last summer was contemplating, I don't know, can I do this? And he's the 6th-ranked player in the world now. It was not a moment. He had a lot of moments in Rose winning. I also think Scheffler had like his one moment because he's not required to, because he just kind of through attrition eliminates everybody. The BMW, I thought the playoffs, those two events gave the tour a big bump in back-to-back, and for him to do what he did at Caves Valley and the whole chip on 17, that was him going, okay, he's inevitable.
Yeah, the playoffs really were. They were awesome. And then obviously the capper on that was Tommy Fleetwood getting that win there and winning the Tour Championship. I thought it was just a wonderful story all through that
Good
month.
series.
Yeah.
What's the best shot you struck this year or most memorable?
I didn't hit many good ones. I will tell you, I hit one really good one that sticks to mind.
Where?
Stream Song, the black course, the one that gilded.
Yes.
I hit a driver off the deck on
Really?
par
Look at
5.
you.
Yeah, I have to hit drivers off the deck. Doesn't go very far. I think it was number 10, the par 5, slightly back up the hill. I hit a driver off the deck to about 4 feet back into the breeze.
Look at you. Thank you for all you've done for us all year long. Looking forward to more with him in 2026. His partner, yes, Wagyu Johnson, will be with us tomorrow, as well as Angel Yin. Looking forward to it Tuesday. Have a great Monday, everybody.